Check, check. All right. La 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 la. Li 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 li. Freddie might vato verde. That nigga didn't do nothing. He might have just spanked his kids too hard, but you know that's how it is. Your kids be fucking all on TikTok nowadays, looking at porn and shit. It's bad, cause you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean, huh? He's not good at all. Mm. Now look, let's talk about how fucked we all are. You know what I mean? Cause like, done. I don't know if you noticed, the border is fucking open, and people be like, "Why you cry about the border?" Cause like, people who aren't U.S. citizens are coming to the United States and taking all the jobs from people who apparently don't want to work the jobs, but do want to work the jobs. And my last job got taken by an immigrant. No, I'm playing. I just got fucking fired from that shit. But they did have recent immigrant raids on jobs that I was doing, factory work, plant stuff. Simple labor, not anything too complicated. So what do we do when our government is allowing people in for that strict purpose? Like not closing the border down because it's better for the economy, right? So that they can lower the wages of their maids and their nannies and their bartenders. People just don't understand the ramifications that are coming. And apparently, Zuckerberg is bought up with some land in China. China. Same thing, might as well. Hawaii. And he's building a bunker, making robots apparently, which is always fun, right? Mm. I wonder what they could be using them for. But yeah, I really need big ass gun toting robots. Fuck it. That's what they're doing. What else do we got? Anything recent? Oh yeah, YouTube's blocking ad blockers very profusely, which is funny. Mm. Because you just slow it down a little bit. It's just like, dude, I'm on like three different websites at once. You think I just can't wait for YouTube to load? Like, it's not that serious. But I'm not chronically online, but when I am online, I'm reading a book and I'm like watching a movie and I'm listening to like music half the time. Like, it's what I mean. Like, it's people multitask. You don't have to do one thing at once. But man, 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 what is happening? I do not know. I cannot tell you. This is a fascinating time to be a human being. The lies about our economy have gone on for so long that it just we're at the tipping point. I would assume because everyone else wants to control the world economy as it looks like we're heading into. Right, globalization has fast forwarded this to I don't even know what length. This is just like everything is so instantaneous now. You got people just ordering from China instantly. Like it's not everything's made in China. We get everything and ship it over there, and they make it and send it back. It's just fascinating how fast the labor force in the U.S. is denigrated to people watching streamers and streaming and just internet all the time, just just selling porn to little kids. It's fucked. And to adults too, to idiot adults, because why would you waste money on that? It's all the love has just been drained out of the system. It's like all the effort that we could be putting into anything positive has just been just just mm, just into self-destructive hatred, distractions, and you can't keep your kids away from a phone. But what's the point? Because they're trying to put chips in people's brains. About 10 years time, so everyone's gonna have a chip in their brain. Not everyone, but you get the gist. People who actually want to control everything, which is fascinating because it's like they were just so out of control growing up or something that they just feel the need to exert their will over the rest of the environment. I mean, what can we do besides pray? I look at my something that I painted one day, and it shows like two sides, and there's just fire on one side. You could call it that. It's just an amalgamation or an idealization of fire. And then what I can best describe as like three different beings, or maybe three different, I don't know, entities, and then just a bunch of gray and white. I don't know how to, and I painted it. You know what I mean? I don't know what to call it. But it seems like there's just two sides. There's either good or evil, and it's like you can't look, my man. If you think you're a girl, there are bigger things to worry about than whether or not you're actually a girl. And to go and cut your dick off and just like make that your whole identity instead of worrying about what's actually happening is just more telling about these people and what their idea, not idea, because they don't have many ideals. Their ideals are be accepted in any way, shape, or form that you can find. But then to just run away from the blatant lies that we face every day is just hilarious to me. And I mean, I'm not one to talk, I've done plenty of bad things, but I can say that they're not nearly as bad as anything that most of the people in America have done, which is fascinating, I think. And I mean, like, because the people who have survived the struggles and turmoils have done such horrendous acts. And I think that's kind of the system that we try to trap us into with capitalism. And because most of it is so corrupt that you can't even fathom, like familial ties, the lack of like transparency, charities are just taking money for the people who run them. You know what I mean? And most of them, it's like whenever they go to Africa, they're not fulfilling anything of use. I mean, look how many people cried when Mr. Beast was giving out fucking wishing wells or water pumps. Like, it's insane. Why are you mad at that? Like, why do this is what the people do. They just complain, complain, complain. It's fucking fascinating. They got nothing better to do than fucking complain about some guy helping people. This is what the fuck happened. Like, what? Where did people wake up and just start thinking like that? Excuse me. But I do think it's just good and evil blatantly. If you don't see that, then you just can't. And what's good? Good is good for our society, right? Our species in some way, shape, or form. That's what we view good as. When in reality, good is a construct that we have created. So who's to say it's bad when the machines take over, right? That's how they try to justify it. Well, the machines, this is me. Well, obviously, this is my opinion. But wouldn't the machines search to do the things that are best for them and not copying, well, yeah, copying because they are copies. They just copy everything that they see and then try to arrange it in a way that'll most please the user because that's how they work. They work to please us right now. So whenever you type something into any AGI or artificial intelligence, chat GPT, it's gonna try to please you. It's not gonna give you the truth, or it's not gonna give you. It might attempt to. It will attempt to, but let's say you tell it to lie to you, it's gonna appease you. You tell it to make you a napalm bomb, it's gonna do that. You tell it to teach you how to commit tax fraud, it's gonna do that. These are things that it can do. But when the money's fake, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying like, oh, the money's not worth anything. The money is a that's funny. Right? Yeah, of course, right. The money's supposed to represent the work that people put into something. You put in work, you get money out of it. But banks receive money and they loan that money out while still holding on to so they made money. Right when they loan that money out, they created money. And then they say that they have a set amount of, you know, tender at their location. They can be lying or not, and that's how the system goes. But it all depends on who controls it, right? So let's say hypothetically you're a country that's $33 trillion in debt, but you use leverage of war profiteering, fear mongering, pharmaceutical espionage. You go into countries and destabilize them so that you can make profit off of their you know, downtrodden, technologically, you know, inferior. You maintain that. Well, you know, what's the end game? Because you can't do that forever. It's just not, it's not feasible. I mean, look at how fast everyone else is advancing just to attempt to. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Like we're living on the verge of World War III, and it just not even marching. They're just we're riding segways right into it. You know what I mean? How our military is treated. How the people who were born first continue to pester and pollute the the new generations in order to make more of the hatred and the greed and the I don't even know what to call it. It's just hatred, greed, sheer undesirable. I don't even know. It's just like they don't desire to be happy truly. I don't even know what to call it. Lack of faith. Just it's really fascinating how blatant it's being pandered to our children. And I mean, I grew up right when computers just popped off. It's just easy to see the effects on it. I mean, no one I ever talked to, and I try to bring up anything like real, not intellectual, not out of the box, just questioning our current reality and trying to put a not an understanding towards it because you can't understand it. It's right. It's a bunch of beings and entities and spirits all just having a war, right? So, but I don't try to question it. Well, I try to just more get perspective on it, right? But no one seems to even have a perspective, right? Like they don't even worry about it. But I guess that's how it is now. This is the world we live in, where you must suck it up because those before us sucked it up. You know what I mean? But I mean, what is that going to get you besides attempting to slander your name by forcing you to blow up like a fucking a city hall in Chicago if your name's Fred Hampton, or saying that you cheated on your wife a bunch if you're Martin Luther King, which he did and his wife knew about. Seems like they didn't care about these physical bodies as much as the fear mongers do. They care more about the spiritual effects that it had on the rest of the world. Or if you're Malcolm X and they just assassinate you, or if you're Martin Luther King and they do that shit. They say they're gonna do that shit, and when you don't follow the blackmail, you just get killed. Because or if you're JFK and they'll have Lee Harvey Oswald, a government employee, kill someone, kill him. At least one of the bullets was shot from him, and then kill him to make the other fall guy. Make sure he's not connected, but he's with the mob. And what is this all about at the end of the day? Money. Because what is money? It's the concentrated representation that we have of time and value stored in one thing, and that's how they try to use it to control people. I told my cousin, I was like, man, money's not really important to me. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, this isn't gonna go with me when I go. It's not, it's not really tangible in the way that you think. And that's why they have like so many people trying to debt max and all that bullshit. It's just because when you die, the money's gone. Why do you think we're 33 trillion in debt? Like these people have been leasing out our future for hundreds of years, and now we're about to put it in the hands of the machines, and it's going to be a wild ride. So yeah, I'm blessed to have been born. I'm very glad that I got to experience life, and it's very, very disheartening seeing how just blatantly idiotic the younger generations are acting. And I'm not saying that I'm any better. I have done stupid things, but it's just the lack of discipline, maybe. I mean, behavioral wise, like these kids are acting crazy. I did not act as bad as them, but it's all in perspective, right? They got a worse world to be born into. At least I had a little fun, right? So yeah, just interesting, very interesting. And we see that the people who make the money are the ones who also enforce the wars to kill the younger generations of men who would be able to see the deceit and the lies that they keep pestering on in society. So yeah, we're gonna go into World War III. Maybe, maybe not. It'll end with nukes probably, or not. They hold their dicks back and no one actually fires a nuke. It's just a bunch of drones and shit, right? Getting ready for a takeover. But what is one? Here's where I'm gonna get into something interesting. What is one government gonna be able to accomplish really? They're gonna put chips into people's brains to try to control what they think and do. That's We are gonna completely holster the free thinking and free thought that we have had for the past 200 years of our society, and it's going to put a guardrail on mind and body. What they're essentially doing is they're going to try to trap their own souls into this realm, which is not going to result in the things that they think it will. Because AIs, we already understand this, are just trying to make us. They're trying to please us, right? So what do they? So what to say when they have you inside of their realm, which is the machine, you know, software based ones and zeros matrix, right? That they don't use you. I mean, in every way, shape, or form. Just they don't. What's to say that they don't use you? That's just how it is. And it's not really scary to think about. It's just weird how no one really talks about it. Not anyone that I know as of late. Seems like people almost like they try to shame you for coming up with ideas. It doesn't make any sense, right? Like true, feasible, rational ideas are always like stigmatized and, as far as I'm concerned, like made mockery of, right? And it's like, yeah, it isn't the way it should be, but that's because of the lying and the blackmail and the pestering and the that are old, that basically the people who own this shit had just started. I mean, why did crypto billionaires die in the Puerto Rico, not the Puerto Rico, which group of islands, not the Bahamas? There you go. It's about 9 people. It's like 9 crypto billionaires. 100 millionaires, whatever you want to call it, Ponzi schemers. That's all they are. Charlottes to the masses, just to get richer. But what's the money gonna do with you? Because that's really what it is. What's the money gonna do with you? That's the way that I try to look at it now. Because it's not what you do with the money. The money becomes you in a way, right? That's why we have so many people fall deep into these careers that are just they're just soul sucking. You have like everything, truck drivers. I'll start with truck drivers because of the Canadian protests that happened, and they all got vaccinated. It's not like they didn't get vaccinated. Or doctors, you know, military. Military's the insane one. It's all based on abuse of power from the top down because you're sending someone else to go die for you based on ideals, cunning, whatever you can, money, blackmail, whatever you can use to get them to go take them out. You know what I mean? As long as they have different ideals than you. I love Doctor Strangelove. It's a great movie. It's about the first bombs that we dropped on Nagasaki and how it was all the plot of one man, right? It was a general gone rogue who just had enough, right? He just snapped. You know what I mean? This is Our minds are not meant to I don't think so. This is one of my opinions. I'm not going to act like everything I say is fact. Our minds are not meant to just lie and be so far blatant from reality that we're just in our own realm all the time. It's just not the way it's supposed to be. The more based you are in reality, what's actually around you, the more that you can understand what isn't around you. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to see the forces to see the impact that the forces have on what's happening. I mean, look at the huge rise of comic books and hero movies in the past 40 years. It's all about idealization and the fact that the good guys should be good, right? In that sense. But what happens when all the good has been washed out and now it's just left with beneficial, which is not good because there's no, it's just what profits you and your, either your company or your government or your idea, whatever, right? It's just beneficial. It's not. When I say good, good is fascinating because good has always been good for me, right? And even what's good for a species can't be good for everyone, right? Like, let's say that our plastic boom was good for, humans. Well, it was bad for the ocean. It was bad for, if you're gonna just use good and bad as polarities, right? So what is good? I'll leave it on that. But yeah, thanks for listening. Hmm. What is good? Because the Christians couldn't have felt like they were doing good during the Crusades, right? Because this is blatant murder and with vengeance and what's the word? I don't know if it's zeal or intent. That can't be good, right? I guess we'll find out.